Hello and welcome to today's video. In today's video I'm going to talk about how, from my experience of trading the markets for over 10 years, I'm going to talk about what I really love about trading. And I'm also going to include a few home truths that you're not always told, especially not by the marketers or the brokers, because I'm sure some of the things I'm going to tell you might put you off a little bit. Wait and see. While I think of it, I've got my notes here that I'm going to be looking through, but while I think of it, let me know why you love the markets. If you're trading, why do you love them so much? You can probably put that down in the comments below. Okay, so I've actually set it up into three broader categories: sort of money, lifestyle, and challenges. So the first category we're going to talk about is actually the money. I mean, that's probably why it's what got me into the markets. First of all, it's probably exactly why you got into the markets. First of all, for the money potential, because there is a lot of earning potential. There's massive earning potential trading the markets. Personally, I mainly trade FX, some futures, but even stocks, options. There's massive potential because they're massive markets and it's very scalable. So if you get good, it doesn't really matter. If you can make a constant, let's say 30% a year on your account, unless you're trading stuff like penny stocks or something that's fairly illiquid that can't be scaled, then, but most of the asset classes can be scaled. So if you're making 30% in your account, might only be $1,000 account, but that 30%, you should be able to scale that and take that up from $1,000 up to 10,000, 100,000, a million, 10 million, and still make that 30%. So that's the first reason why I love the money side of things. And talking about potential scalability, I just mentioned 30% a year. That's just a bit of a arbitrary number that I picked, but depending on how good you are, it is very difficult, but the potential is there. I mean, essentially it is limitless. I mean, you might have heard of a trader, Larry Williams, back in the 80s in a trading competition. He actually made 11,000% in a year, so trading futures, and that gives you an idea of the scalability of the financial markets. And coming back again to that, you're making 30% a year. You might only have a small account, but what you can do, you can trade other people's money. So you might only have $1,000 account, but if you're that good and you've got that good a track record, you can either go and work for a fund, or you can maybe create your own fund and earn that 30% on a much, much bigger scale, taking a commission. And of course, especially, I'm a mechanical trader, so I tend to have mechanical rule-based systems, and they're very replicable. So what I mean by that, well, if I have a system, and typically my systems are actually coded and they're automated, very hands-off once I've built them, but that system, let's say that produces 30% a year, and you've got your $1,000 account, there's nothing saying that you can't give that system to somebody else who's then trades it on $1,000 account or a $10,000 account. They give it to someone else. So it's very replicable and scalable in that sense. So that's about it on the money side of things. But while we are talking about the money side of things, here's the first home truth, or the first brutal truth. Now, you'll often see adverts, maybe from brokers, maybe from trading educators, and it's also a bit of a belief. You go into the forums, Facebook groups, they all think that, especially as a beginner trader, that you can be earning 10% a week, maybe 50%, 100% return every month. They all kind of advertise that you can turn a small account, say a $500 account, you can turn that into 10,000 within months. Well, the reality is it's just not possible. Well, it is possible, but you might do it once, but it might be luck. and you certainly will have trouble doing it again. It really isn't a reality. A reality is making somewhere between 20, maybe 100% a year. That's a year, not a month. That's the reality. So with regards to trading for a living, if you've only got 100 or no, say $1,000 in your account and you're making, say, 50% a year, so it's $500 a year, isn't it? So I don't know about you, but I certainly couldn't live off $500 a year. So that's a bit of a cold, hard truth with trading. If you're going to be making 50% return a year, and it's not guaranteed, of course, and it's not 50% at the end of the year, dead on. It goes up and down, as you probably might know. But unless you've got an account of, let's say you've got maybe $100,000, then 50% profit is $50,000 a year. Then you might be thinking, oh, actually, I can trade for a living. So when these people advertise trading for a living, making these silly returns, don't listen to them, because it's not always the truth. I know I'm kind of contradicting myself because I just told you about Larry Williams making that 11,000%, but that was in competition environment. He was probably willing to risk or lose his whole account. If you had $100,000, I'm sure you probably wouldn't be risking, willing to lose that $100,000. So be slightly realistic. Maybe I think if you're doing between 20 and 100% a year, you're doing well. So bear that in mind when you're trying to work out how much you need to trade for a living. So the next category I want to talk about is lifestyle. Now this is probably always a big one for me, the big attraction for me, because with the markets you can work whatever hours you want. I've mentioned I'm a mechanical trader. Now I spend time developing systems, putting them together, and then they're actually automated. So I have virtually no screen time whatsoever. So the only time I spend is actually developing the systems, and I can do that whenever I want to do it. On the other hand, you may be a discretionary trader, someone who sits and watches the charts, but you can pick what time you want to trade. If you find a good system that trades between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon for that 3-hour period, and you can make money consistently, then that's the hours that you have to work. So you really can choose what time of day you want to work, and especially with some of these futures markets, forex markets, they can be open up to 24 hours a day. So, and there's always an opportunity to make money. And I actually see my trading as more passive, more of a passive income, because, like I mentioned, I'm a mechanical trader and it's automated. So I'm not at the screen all the time like a discretionary trader might be. So that was another big one for me, a passive one. It's something that I can trade alongside doing another job. I generally always have more than one different income. I don't rely on trading for an income. So it's a much more passive for me personally. And of course, it doesn't have to be that way. You can be a discretionary trader. You can design your trading system exactly how you want it. It's that flexible. It's another reason why I love the markets. A big plus point for many people, including myself, not that I've really taken advantage of it at the moment, but trading is very location independent. Means you can, as long as you've got an internet connection, you can take it anywhere you want, anywhere in the world. You'll often see these adverts of your laptop open on the beach, although that isn't always a reality. It's possible. So very location independent. If you have to go for a work trip somewhere for a couple of weeks and you're an end of day trader, you can take your laptop with you, look at the charts end of the day and keep trading. Or if you want to move, you haven't got to worry about if there's work in that area, because if you're making your living through trading, then you can do that anywhere you've got an internet connection. And of course, the last one in this lifestyle category is you're your own boss. You don't have to have a boss to answer to. And I know, well, coming from myself being self-employed for many years now, That's always a huge bonus, not having anyone to answer to, not having to turn up on time and answer to the boss. That brings me to the last category, which is what I call the challenge of the markets. Now, I quite like the mathematics of it, and I see it as a bit of a problem-solving game, if you like, trying to study the markets, trying to work out why they've done things, what they might do next. I see it as, I see it as a real challenge in numbers. And of course, it's ever evolving. The markets are always changing. So if you work out what a market was doing for the past 10 years, might not mean that it's going to carry on doing that, because market behaviour does change. So you've always got to stay on your toes and adapt when the markets change. I study the markets through software using code and algorithms. That's part of what I really love. I really love people coming up with systems saying, oh, I've got this system, mechanical system with rules X, Y, Z. I think it's working really well. Can you have a look at it? And more often than not, I'll code it and it won't actually work. So that's something personally that I just love doing. I love taking people's systems and testing them out, see if they work. And even if they don't work, I can then offer suggestions and offer improvements, see if I can get them working. And of course, lastly, there is that element of competition, I guess. I mean, some people see it as trading against the market. Some people see it as trading against other traders, other participants. And so there is that sort of competition there, certainly with results at the end of the year. So I quite like that. No, it's certainly not number one on my list for trading the markets. So that's about it. There you have it, through the categories of money, lifestyle, and the challenges. Now, don't forget, leave a comment down below the video. Tell me why you love the markets, how long you've been trading, and whether things have changed, whether when you came into the markets you thought they were going to be like something, but actually in reality they're not. But mainly, just tell me why you love them, and I'll get back to you on the comments. For now, that's it for this video. You can find other videos and my good stuff over at thetransparenttrader.com, and I'll see you in the next video.